This is Lance Sterling, and I'm here today with my very good friend who we've been working together for the past 20 years.
Wow.
Johnny Vatos
Hey.
from the Oingo Boingo. And you were originally from the Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo.
Yeah. Back in the early days with Steve and Sam and a bunch of crazy people.
It's so amazing because I have such an affinity for Oingo Boingo because when I was going to college at U of A, I ran a place called the Wildcat House, and I ran New Wave Wednesdays. So every Wednesday, it was New Wave music, and you were the poster boy for New Wave.
Oh, great. I love that.
So walk us through, because we were just talking where one of my favorite movies ever is Dusk Till Dawn. And you were in that movie, in the band.
Yes, I was doing a TV show called Culture Clash on Fox, and Robert Rodriguez came in and saw the band. Tito La Riva from the Plugs and the Cruzados back in those days, he was the band director. And so he goes, "Hey, we got that crazy band, and we want to put him in a horror film." I go, "Okay, great." So,
my favorite film.
Dusk Till Dawn. So it was just such an amazing moment. I remember being in this vampire makeup and taking pictures. And when I got home, I showed the kids, and they thought I was a devil. They were like, "Oh, no, that's not my daddy."
That movie came out, about 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah, 1995.
Is that crazy? Because
Yeah.
I look at the AI generation today.
Yeah.
And I was watching Scarface, and I realized literally how bad all of the special effects were. Because, if you watch Star Wars,
Yeah.
you go, "Oh, that's terrible." But at the time, we were blown away. How did they make that happen like that?
Yeah.
So you started when you were 17 years old, very theatrical, right?
Right. Yeah.
You didn't wake up and go, "I'm going to be a famous rock band."
No. My mom gave me the first advice. She said, "Mijo, if you're going to be a rock drummer, you're going to have to get a job. If you're going to be a jazz drummer, you're going to have to get a job. But if you play everything, you won't have to get a job because you'll always work." And so that bit of advice has kept me going for the L.A. Philharmonic when I was a kid, 19 or so, Junior Philharmonic, and I played big bands and shows and all kinds of stuff.
And do you play other instruments?
Right. I play guitar, a little keyboard, and I've studied mallets, and I sing.
Yes, you do sing. So I see that, and then I also see, because I had Dusk Till Dawn down here, but I also see the Midnight Special, because I remember that.
Right. That was my pop years. That's why I say the 70s are back, because it was the 70s, and I was the house drummer on the Midnight Special for about a year and a half. I was playing with Helen Reddy.
I know Helen, and didn't she was the one that was just passed away, right? A while ago.
She passed away.
Was she in the old person's home?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that because we raised money for them.
Yeah, she was a wonderful, wonderful singer, and we always played. We played all the circuits of the hotels, the Hilton. We traveled to Hong Kong and played with orchestras. I have shows on YouTube from Australia.
Oh, I saw those. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a fun time. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, the Midnight Special.
And it was funny because even though I knew you because I went to U of A, but you weren't, on the West Coast, Oingo Boingo was hugely popular, but on the East Coast, it was I learned that we knew what BTO was, and I came out here and no one knew what BTO was. Right. There, it's the other way around for you guys.
And when we were managed by Miles Copeland, and whenever we played on the West Coast, we headlined, and whenever we played on the East Coast, we were always opening for the same bands. And we would open for the Police or open for other bands. And
what always reminds me so much of you is because when you're in high school, because I graduated high school in 81, and that's when you guys did the music I remember.
Yeah.
And it just blew me away when I was doing research and to found out you were a theatrical group that kind of went into the band. And the amazing thing is you're also the group where everybody in the group had other talents.
Everyone. Right. Everyone was multi-talented.
And how many, because I know the Rugrats, how much music did you guys write for television movies?
Well, Danny was doing all of that. I did a couple of things. We did Midnight Run, and he asked me, he goes, "So what do? You want to start doing movies?" And so I did a movie session once, and I had to get there like at 9:00 in the morning, and it was it took me 3 hours to get there, and I got there, and I realized I was just a side person.
Right.
I wasn't Danny's friend at that point. I was just a guy in the orchestra.
Yeah.
So I rubbed a few elbows and went and hung out with Danny. They said, "No, you can't do that." So I thought, if I can't hang out with Danny and I can't have a good time,
I'm not wasting my time.
I'm not wasting my time playing in movies. So Danny goes, "Okay, you don't have to play on anything." But Danny always worked, but he did give me the opportunity.
No, but that's great. And he also, today, that you guys are in the Boingo Dance Party, right?
Yeah.
And is that the official name?
No, the official name is because we've gone back and forth with lawyers. Danny really wasn't happy about me playing because he doesn't like to look back, and he hasn't stopped moving forward.
Right.
So he's. I go, "Danny, I got to use the name Oingo Boingo." He goes, "So why don't you call yourself Oingo Boingo former members? Because that's what you are." I said, "Okay, Danny,
That works.
I got it." And so we had the lawyer put it in paper, and now we're Oingo
And now you're
Boingo.
set. But the point is do fans know the difference?
Fans don't know the difference.
Right.
Bookers do.
Yes,
You
I
know.
agree with that because I remember getting calls saying that somebody's calling Oingo Boingo, and I'm like, I don't control the fan.
Yeah,
I can control what I say.
That's true.
Yeah, but I'm more impressed because you really, and I want to sound greedy, you really just play for us now.
Yeah.
Because locally, like we get you and we put you. Well, you've also played Coach House, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I know you just play locally.
Yeah.
So if you're in Illinois, you're not going there anytime soon.
No. Well, we do have offers, but it's hard at our age to get on a bus. That's the problem. There isn't the
hard at our age to get up and down.
People aren't going to invest in. They really don't know how exciting the band is. Once they hear it, then they want it back right away.
Well, they always talk about like being a drummer is probably the most physically demanding thing on stage, right?
Right.
Because I've seen drummers just profusely sweating and they're just going to town.
Yeah.
Is that like your workout?
That is my total workout. And I learned from famous drummers that if you have a good sweat, you're actually doing okay. It means your body's lubricating and everything's okay.
When did you guys become when did you become the Halloween band?
It happened. The Mystic Knights of the Oingo Boingo had an incredible following.
Right.
And they really were a great theatrical success. So when we went and became Oingo Boingo, we chose Halloween as the most fun part of the year to have crazy shows. And Danny was he's got a kind of a morbid sense of scary movies. So,
didn't he work with Tim Burton?
Yeah, and he, even on the bus, when we were on the bus, he'd go, "John, we'd all go watch movies." I couldn't watch half the movies.
Oh, really?
Him and Steve would watch. He was totally into the horror thing.
Oh, the cutting apart. I never, I never was a horror guy, but I loved. Like, I thought you guys started it, and then because we talked about earlier, like War took it to like the nth level, and
right,
and all of those bands. So, how many bands do you guys feel like you also were the granddaddy in New Wave?
No, we kind of shied away from all of those New Wave
labels.
All those labels. We tried so hard not to be anything, and that was kind of the mindset, and that's why I think. Today, the music and the lyrics and everything still works.
Right.
Because it was just so out of the box.
Right. You weren't following trends.
No. And Danny's an incredibly smart, brilliant man whose both parents are teachers.
But don't you find all these bands, because my wife manages people, and these bands that try to fit themselves in always fail?
Always.
Right. Because you have to be authentic. That's the number one thing.
Right, you have to be who you are, and it'll fall where it is. You'll find your own label.
Hey, I heard that Jeff Tate is calling in, so let's see if we can get Jeff Tate on board here. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
We're looking forward to you coming in at the Canyon Club. I understand we've been playing the Canyon Club for quite a while.
I have. I've played there so many times.
Yeah, and we get to try your wine, huh?
Familiar with it. Well, if you would like to, yes.
We would love to try your wine, and when you play that night, I know we always buy a couple cases of it so your fans can try your wine too. So this is the last time you're playing Operation Mindcrime, huh?
That is my plan, yes.
As long as it's not one of those, who's our friend, Cher, where she's done her last tour, like, how many times? Does that always get you? Because you had a heck of a career, and now you're off doing your own thing, or what do you have coming next?
Well, it's not like I'm ever going to stop touring, I don't think. But I don't plan on playing Mindcrime again after this tour. But typically this tour, I think, was going to be about 2.5 years. Typically, they last that long. So let's see, when I'm nearing 68, I'll be...
well, the old days, that used to make me sound like it was old, and now that's nothing. Because I just turned 63, and I think that what was the hardest age for you? Was it 65? Because I'm terrified of 65.
No, not really. No age has really got me, I guess, because I think it's a psychological thing. You know?
Because if I asked you how old you feel like you're 40, right?
I don't even know if I feel like I'm 40. I can't put an age. I can't associate how I feel with an age. I just find it really hard.
Yeah, but it's funny because
normal. I feel me, you know.
Yeah, you being 68, I think to myself, you're like I am, because you've lived through the complete change of how the music industry makes money, how, because when we first started, it was record labels giving you advances. And nowadays, it's touring.
Yeah. Are there still record labels?
Yeah. The funniest thing, there are still record labels, but they don't throw money around anymore. And you can self-produce pretty easily,
Yeah, the whole thing has really changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, because when I first started House of Blues...
Exciting.
Yeah, when I first started House of Blues, I remember thinking, people aren't going to go to concerts anymore. They're going to sit at home in front of their computer and watch the concert on computer.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. The pandemic proved that wrong. And everybody wants to go out, and the second we were out doing stuff again, we were full. And people are looking that way today. Nowadays, with the Ticketmaster, do you have any opinion about that? Because half the places you play probably have Ticketmaster, and they're getting sued right now by the DOJ. And they're and it's funny, it's for scalping. It's not for being a monopoly. It's for scalping. And it's funny because isn't scalping's like pretty much a big portion of the business nowadays. And it's really bad for artists because once they scalp a ticket, you don't enjoy any of the upside. So have you
the payday, you mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, who is getting the payday? It seems like it's a bunch of ticket companies that are walking away with the pay. And I know that because when I do... did you ever play the Libby Ball for me? You did. Yeah. So I think... And the Libby Bowl was one of those things where that was the most authentic because it was a 1970s and 80s band going to retro back to the Woodstock days.
Right.
So what were you doing during Woodstock? Was you after Woodstock, huh?
Yeah, I was a jazz snob growing up. So when I saw Woodstock, I thought, these people haven't taken a shower in weeks. What's wrong with these people? Because when Woodstock came out, I was already hip to the Wrecking Crew and the way studios worked because I grew up in L.A. So I was already starting to do sessions when I was 17 years old, Carol Lawrence and these different projects and stuff. So when Woodstock came out, it was like, I went. I kind of checked it out.
I was like 3 or 4 years old, and the only reason I knew anything was going on is I lived in High Falls, which is right near Woodstock.
Oh, how cool!
And I came outside, and there was like people just parked their cars and legitimately walked away. So in the middle of 9G, all these cars were just parked all the way up and down the street.
Yeah.
So it's
totally
funny
weird.
because I'd see that was no one made any money from that.
No
right?
one.
And didn't it end up being free because
Well,
they couldn't figure out how to charge people?
Well, no, there was guarantees that were made. I heard, like 7,000, 8,000, here and there.
So, Jeff, Johnny Vatos is in the studio. I neglected to tell you that. That's
Yes.
who the other person talking is from Oingo
Yeah, I was trying to
Boingo.
figure out match the voice with the story, but I couldn't.
We appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
So we know that you're coming up here on November 21st. And I think if anybody uses the special,
Jeff's the 14th
Jeff's the 14th.
and the 15th at Saban.
So Jeff, you're playing the Saban and the Canyon Agora.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Good. I
so
haven't looked that far ahead, so I don't know. I'm
let's-
in Memphis today.
So, Jeff, come up with a discount code, and we're going to put a discount code out there for you, that 2-for-1 tickets. Do you have anything you want to use, Mind, or what do you want to use?
The name of the winery.
The name of the
I don't
winery.
know.
What is the name of your winery?
It's called Insania.
Insania.
IN. Yeah.
So,
And like
Luann, can we
insane.
do that?
Absolutely.
And then
Plural.
we'll make sure we get with the bartenders and make sure we have a couple cases of his wine.
Yep.
That's very cool. So thank you so much. I don't want to keep you. If you have anything else, we're going to finish our conversation with Johnny, and we look forward to having you come out, and we'll see you at the Saban and at the Canyon Agora.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on. Good luck.
Thank
Talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.
So going back to what we were talking about before, you, like, this is a whole new world. So, like, because I know you're in that strange spot where you're not a tribute band. You have original guys in the...
Right. It's a very interesting, when you're a professional musician, you're always playing everyone else's music. And so for me, it was really great to have a body of work, Oingo Boingo, with such great players. And the music is still tough to play. And it's still, it's really a lot of fun.
And you still
But-
get that reward.
I still get that reward because the fans are there and they kind of understand. And every time I step back, I have stepped back from the entire Oingo Boingo event and experience and all that stuff. And I've done it 2 or 3 times. I'm amazed at how great the band is. When you're in the middle of it, you can't think it like, oh, we're the greatest thing. You're just working stuff out. You're just, your head's in the trenches. But a couple of times in our existence, I had to sit with Danny and go, man, we sound really good. That was amazing. Weird Science sounded good on the radio for the first time. We had a song that sounds good on
Right.
the radio. So it's just sort of it's.
Like, did you write Weird Science for the movie, or
Yeah.
you did?
Yeah.
Because, and so how does that work? Someone just calls up and said, "Hey, I want you to write This Is the Feeling," and you guys come up with it.
Well, Danny was always, he's in the movie industry, so he's directors and are always coming to him, and he would come to us and go, "Well, they want us to do another movie theme and all that stuff." Okay.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, we go, "Okay, shucks, sure. What's wrong with that?"
Yeah.
And so he would show up at rehearsal.
Do you get paid royalties for that?
Uh-huh.
Everybody in the band did.
Everybody.
That's crazy because you can paint anybody like a villain or like a hero.
Right.
And you work well with Danny, and you don't have any issues. And you
Right.
just talk them out when you do have issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember booking you. You were the closest thing I could get to the Oingo Boingo. But in my mind, because I knew all the names, I was like, that was Oingo Boingo minus Danny.
Sure.
And I always appreciated he let you play because he could stop it, right? And a lot of bands do that because you hear about these, like right now, who's fighting?
Sticks.
Styx is fighting? Well, that's the original guy. They threw him out a long time ago. So would I have.
Yeah, but that happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you see these guys and they're into these fights like Hall & Oates.
Right.
How are they fighting? Are you so rich that you don't care about money? You don't care about your fans? And I don't mean to pick on them, but
But it pisses you and me off.
Right.
Because we like them.
I look at the Canyon Club, and my job is to provide a constant diet of entertainment. Sound familiar with Isaac? A constant diet of great entertainment. Don't care whether it's country, rock and roll, new wave. I don't care. Jazz, big band. My job is just to make sure every time you go into the Canyon Club, and the new thing we're doing now, which we'll do when you have your event, is we do, like, remember that thing where you go into the room and you grab cash?
Yeah.
We do cash grabs. We do money machines. We do trivia contests, because we want to make it fun.
Right.
Because it's not only, and we also have that rule where, I don't want to go see Too Short and pay $1,100 a ticket.
Right.
And I see that, and some of the tickets are worth that. But in reality, my job is to make sure that I give you entertainment that's not so overwhelming.
Sure.
And expensive. And as far as, do you still do private events?
What, the band?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the cha-ching.
Yeah, well, that's what we, because
You
a
know,
lot of people
you
don't
know.
realize that, the Saban and the Dolby and the Canyon Clubs and the Oxnard because of special events or because of the concerts we do, but really what pays the bills is the special events.
And people do hire us from time to time, and that's okay,
And they hire you, and that's the thing is, remember a band called Danger Kitty?
Yeah, I remember that.
The Danger Kitty was a spoof band that they created because they played bar mitzvahs. Because that's kind of what happened in the world is like all these rock and roll people. And who knew that one day you're playing in Staples? Like, what is the biggest venue you've ever played?
Well, we did the US Festival. That was 250,000. That was pretty good.
And then, but the best show you can see is the Canyon Club.
Yeah, that's
Because
it.
the worst seat in the house is 70 feet away from the stage.
It is the best place. It's the best place to see Oingo Boingo former members. And we're going to be there November 1st.
And I just added 30 tons of air conditioning.
Oh, unbelievable.
I know everybody likes to give me crap about my air conditioning, but I like to tell people this. Put 1,300 people in a building. You're not complaining that it's hot. You're complaining the guy's standing too close to you.
Yeah.
And when I ran House of Blues, it was funny. I would do some young band, like 26-year-old average, and I could put 1,500 people in the building. As soon as I did a 70-year-old average with a bunch of 250-pound guys, it's like we're stuck at 300 people in the building, and they're complaining it's too hot. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I do
you're
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And we have, we're sponsored by Kettle One, so make sure you're drinking your Kettle One. Don't
Cool,
drink
man.
and drive. And come and see Johnny Vatos. And
I do want to come back. I'm working on my original music.
okay,
So maybe next month I'll come back and play you some tunes.
I would love that.
And talk about all that.
Absolutely love that, Johnny.
And I just personally want to thank you
And
for...
can you bring your wife next time?
Yeah,
I
I'll
like
bring
her more than I like you.
I know. She said to give you a big hug.
Well,
I
tell
said
her
I'm not
one back.
touching him. I'm not. And but I just kind of have to personally thank you for letting Ethan and myself use the Saban on November 21st.
You're always welcome.
For a Christmas event that's just off the hook and a great charity. And these actors, it's bone-chilling, exciting to listen to them whisper these words and bring this story to life. It's always inspires me, and I need all the inspiration I can get these days.
Well, we'll get you some inspiration, and we have another half hour after this, but let's go and take a break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
And welcome back. We're back to Where Music Meets the Soul with Johnny Vatos from Oingo Boingo originally, and now with the former original members of Oingo Boingo.
Yeah, we're still doing it.
The high energy, you're still pumping it out.
It can't be any other way.
So your fans, how old are they now?
They're old enough to keep up, and what's really exciting is that they're our age. They're like 60 years old, and we were playing a club down in deep Orange County, and we recently found a home at the House of Blues in Anaheim.
Right.
And so we played the House of Blues in Anaheim, and all the people that went to Irvine Meadows showed up with their kids. So we had 5, 8-year-old, 11-year-old kids singing the lyrics to Oingo Boingo songs the last time we played there. It was just
What was your favorite song?
all of them.
Yeah, and you don't like playing them, and you
no.
sing background on everything, or do you sing lead everything?
Danny did all the vocals.
Yeah, but now who's doing it?
Oh, now who's doing it? Yeah, yeah. Everyone else is covering it up. It's really an amazing thing that how many generations have been able to have lived with Oingo Boingo music.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in San Gabriel.
Oh, you did. So
Yeah.
L.A. is you don't you live still around there?
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
I've been all over. I grew up in New York, and then I went to Florida, Arizona. It seems like I just kept bouncing around, but I was good about going where I could make money.
But and that's kind of the difference between you and me. It's almost though if the water in San Gabriel makes the best refried beans,
Right.
I'm really happy. There's just something about the beans and water. If you make beans in Texas, it's different. If you make beans in Seattle, it's just different.
Well, you guys have San Gabriel. I see you have some really good barbecue places over there too.
Yeah, it's a culinary happening.
Extravaganza.
It is.
So, so the first time I came across, you were playing at the Universal Amphitheater. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Universal.
And it's funny because people don't realize that was like our big amphitheater that was here.
It was. I played at that amphitheater when it didn't have a roof. I played a benefit.
And I remember that.
I played with Helen Reddy, and it was a benefit with Frank Sinatra, Helen Reddy, and somebody else.
Yeah, Tony Opasano was just here. He was Frank Sinatra's manager.
Oh,
and he was in here and talking. But he's been a very good friend of the Canyon Club because you know that we did Frank Sinatra, we did Frank Jr., and then we did Bullet Head or Don Rickles.
Oh, great!
And it's funny because, like right now, I'm excited because we have Tyler coming out, the Hollywood Median. Mm-hmm. And we get to do his show more and more. And that's doing things that are different is always better. That's probably what always attracted me to Oingo Boingo because you guys weren't just the typical looking for that song.
Yeah.
You didn't care about the one-hit wonder. You wanted to make what you loved and made.
Sure.
And without that, it doesn't work, right?
Here's a scary detail that Danny. One of the reasons, because I'm kind of a hard-nosed guy, and we were all really educated, we were all killer musicians, could eat up music like it was going out of style. We always did an album, and we always had 30 or 40 songs to choose from, and we only choose 10 or 11. Danny would write constantly. You could show up 3 days a week from 3 in the afternoon to 10 at night and not play the same music the next day.
Really?
It just went on and on.
So how many songs are written and played out there that never made it onto albums?
There's a whole thing called Forbidden Boingo.
Forbidden Boingo.
And you can find it on YouTube. People have let it all slip out. There's just
someone leaked it out.
So many goofy songs that are like, I don't remember this one. This is because
I think about that all the time because that's the way we are with building restaurants and concert venues. We build them so fast that the ones that fail, we just pretend never happened. Oh. We don't want to talk about them because I think to myself, I built a restaurant once called the Bull Ring. Best concept known to mankind. 20 years of head. When was that, Lou? Like right at the turn, like the late 1990s, 2000. It was a bull ring. And the concept was no waitresses. There was a phone, literally a dial-up phone at every table. And there was a TV at every table where you could watch any show you wanted. We were a technology, AI, advanced thing.
Oh, cool.
No one liked it. It was open for maybe 3-4 months, and then we were like, "Oh, screw this, close it." It was that Mechanical Bull restaurant, the Bull Ring. I remember that, and then that's when you realize when you hit something that no one cares about.
Yeah.
Because you've watched it. Like, can you remember what the ticket price of the very first concert that you guys threw?
Oh,
Were
yeah.
you getting $10 or were you getting $5? What was it?
$5.60.
Right.
That was generally $5.
And now that's a facility fee.
Not even.
The crazy thing is, the crazy thing that I find is the credit card companies seem to have taken over the world. Because if I give you your cash, no one takes like 1.5% of it or 2.8% of it. But with these credit cards and all these banks, they're just siphoning off. It's kind of like the gambling concept is when you play slots and you get a 97% payback, that means 3% of the time. So once you pull that cord 30 times, it's guaranteed the money's gone. That's the same thing with these service charges and facility fees, that they're just siphoning all this money off. And the bands aren't getting it. Like, are you BMI, ASCAP, or CSCAP? What are you?
I'm ASCAP.
ASCAP. And, like, do you still get ASCAP money? You get your .003 cents?
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing is, like, with all this AI, couldn't someone figure out how many times your music was played?
Right, exactly. And that's, most musicians and artists go into it now knowing that they're not making any money. And so the good news out of that is there's a lot of good music. There's a lot of people struggling out there and doing some incredible stuff, and thare out of their minds. Are you familiar with that band Nowhere?
Yes. But on something like that,
they've been around for a while.
right. And that's where when I look at this and I see, like, for you, like, who is getting all that money? Because I know I pay ASCAP BMI massive amounts of money.
Right.
But who is getting that? Is this still just it gets slid in there? Because I imagine Oingo Boingo, is Mariah Carey getting that for Christmas time?
Right.
And that's the question, because you guys had huge hits.
Well, here's the beauty of my situation, and it only happened to me because our manager, Laura Engel, her father was Don Engel, the famous music lawyer tycoon.
He was very good at chasing stuff down.
Oh man, he was the number one entertainment lawyer for years, and we do get residuals. Long story short, we get him because he was such a good lawyer.
And that's what you need, because to me, like, I am okay with playing BMI, ASCAP, CSCAP, all of them, GMR, blah, blah, blah. Right. I'm okay with it if the bands are actually getting it. Yeah, I know that, like, when you do a score or you work in a sitcom or you do music for a sitcom, they know how many times it was played. They know where it was played. They know how much it generated in income. Sure. And why can't they do that with the concerts? Because Ticketmaster, there's only 3 or 4 concert ticketing companies left. Right. So it's easy to track everything down.
It's a conglomerate world, and we're just a part of it.
Right, but I was part of that growing of the conglomerate, because when I worked for House of Blues, people forget that we bought Universal. We're the one that bought Universal Music. We were the one that started spinning stuff together, but there was a guy named Silverman. Remember Silverman?
Yeah.
He was from SFX, and he was the one that was originally rolling these up. And when you see that, you realize it was so anti-music, but it was financially wildly successful. Yeah. Because now you're controlling, because I always hated those 360 deals.
Right.
Because
they drive me. How do people sign those?
Because you have a choice. You have AEG or Live Nation. That's your choice. Yeah. And it's funny because I end up with Oingo Boingo. I end up with the Tubes. I end up with the Fix. I end up with those because they're not at a level where they're warranting. And I believe that my expertise is, if you're worth 1,000 tickets, my expertise is to make sure 1,300 people show up to see you.
That's right.
Right, because
Yeah.
when I ran House of Blues, that was the big thing, is we were driving as many people as we could.
Yeah.
But when I ran House of Blues, we were always in tourist markets. So people came to me,
Right.
which changed my advertising, my call to actions. It changed everything. Here, I'm in residential communities. So when Oingo Boingo is playing, or you're playing the Canyon, Agora,
Right.
those people have probably seen you there 3 times already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because Dave Wakeland we have this conversation all the time. The more he plays, the busier he is.
Sure.
And if he skips a year because he got a tour, like Berlin was opening for Cyndi Lauper.
Right.
So we didn't get her. So now it's going to take me a couple years to build her back up because people forget when they go there.
Yeah, that was one thing. That was one thing that kept Oingo Boingo from being an international success, is because we would only tour 6 weeks and never went back the second or third time to St. Louis, or the second or third time to Florida.
But the business model back then was to sell records.
Yeah, but Chili Peppers go in, play once. They was great. 4 months, we want you for a show. Then they'd sell out. 4 months later, you can't even get a ticket. Well, Oingo Boingo never went back.
Right.
We did 6 weeks, came home, and sat.
And we're done.
And we're done. We would sit and write another album for 2 years.
Yeah, but you guys were always the esoteric artistic band.
Yeah, we were.
Right? You took it seriously.
We did.
Yeah. So I know I coach football, so I get that same thing where there's people that are transitory, they play, and then there's people who this is their life.
Yeah.
And this, when I look at you, music is your life.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet my Uncle Mark? He was that trolley guy that was always upstairs in near the green rooms. He was the one that did all the graphics.
No.
He was kind of a Berkeley guy with his music major and stuff, and he was always a huge fan of yours. Oh, and he was my uncle, but he was one of those uncles that was like 9 years older than you, so he was more like your brother than he was. And he was a big music fan, and a lot of my guitar collection came from him. Oh. Because he would get the guitar, and I remember in 1972 he gave me a Flying V. Oh. And you're thinking, like, back then that was like an $1,800 guitar.
That's a killer guitar then.
I don't even know what it's worth today.
Yeah.
And it's still hanging on, and that's the funniest thing, is it's preserved forever because it's hanging on a wall in one of my restaurants. Because I can't play it. Probably if I could play it, I would have destroyed it.
Yeah.
And so now with all of the stuff going on with the ticketing and the ticket contracts and all of that stuff, you guys don't really see that or get involved in that.
No.
Do you get your fans, do they complain about these crazy service charges?
Yeah, they do. And I try just to, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, the crazy thing is we have the same issue. People call us, but it's funny because you shouldn't blame your patrons. But if you call my 1-800, my 1-800 number, you only pay $10 flat fee. No service charges.
Don't forget that, everybody. Don't forget that.
And if you call it's 1-888.
It's 888-645.
645.
5006.
5006. And if you call there, then they will put you through and lock in, because there is expenses. People forget. The credit card companies, if you use an American Express and it's a platinum card or a black card, they charge you 5%. If you use your Visa MasterCard, they charge you like 1.8. And so there is these expenses, and people forget. My favorite one, people call me, and I got charged $40 for ticketing. Well, you had it FedEx to your house.
Right.
That was 20 of the 40 just because you had it FedEx to your house. But I always tell people, call, because even on our website, the first thing it says is, be careful, ticket scalpers are very sneaky. Because I can't, when you look at box office at the Canyon Club, that's not my website. That's some scalper bought it.
No way.
And Google does nothing about it. Yeah, and I had a huge fight because Haim Saban sponsors the Saban, and even Haim Saban, when we called them to say that they were diverting people, because what happens to us is we'll be standing out in front of an Air Supply concert, right? And this 70-year-old couple comes up and they're crying because their daughter bought them a ticket, but it was a totally forged ticket. And now they're stuck down in Beverly Hills, paid $20 to park, and they really don't have a ticket. And I have no place to put them. So it's hard for me because if I say no to them, I know that they will never buy from that scalper again. And if I let them in, I've kind of just reinforced what happened.
Right.
Because now they're going to, they still got to go in and see the concert.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that when I look at like the Ticketmaster lawsuit that's going on right now, I look at that and I wish that someone would just give me 100% of the information.
Right.
Because I think I could make a right answer if I knew the whole story. And yet nowadays it's like people leave out the reason there's service charges is because the service charges are what it takes to print the ticket, to pay for the credit card fees, to do all that.
Right.
And people don't know that. And now that you get them to know it, but it puts more pressure on the credit card fees because sometimes, right, Lou, they just passed a law where we have to do all this all-in-one pricing, right?
Correct.
But it almost is more dishonest than it is honest because
They can hide it now.
right, because now you don't know what is. And then they don't charge you tax, they charge service fee or facility fee. They will come up with any other name. Yeah. But the problem is on a $100 ticket, sometimes you'll pay like $130.
Sure.
And that's what Ticketmaster is getting sued for right now, is that because it's bait and switch, but isn't music all bait and switch? Because forever you've been touring and you and I have a deal.
Right.
I collect the money at the door, I give it to you, I cover just enough to cover my expenses, and I keep all the food and beverage.
Right.
And it's all bait and switch. Because when I first did House of Blues, people all said, oh, this can't work. Because bands want 85% of the door, right? That's a standard number, right?
Right.
They want 85% of the door versus, 85 after expenses. Right. When you're doing a stadium and your expenses are $100,000 split between 100,000 people, that's $1 a person. At the Saban, it might be close to $7 per person.
Yeah.
And that's why the smaller venues are harder to make money. Mm-hmm. So, what are you working on now?
What am I working on? I've been actually, we've had kind of a lot of time off this year, so I've been working on a set of tunes. I got a good bunch of tunes. I'm a real eclectic guy, like I said, we've been talking about all the different things I've done. So the list of songs is a nice punk song, a nice gospel song, a nice world beat song.
Let me tell you a story about, the band Pepper?
I know who they are.
Yeah. So we were doing a Pepper concert. So, and I'm that terrible guy. I'm a punk rock guy. I don't know if you know that. So I work the mosh pit.
Right.
So in Pepper, I was working, because it wasn't really a mosh pit. People were just doing that jumping up and down thing and surfing the crowd. So I was working behind the barricades. So I had this, so I'm sitting there and the Pepper's playing and they're passing these girls around, and all of a sudden you see this girl come flying up to the stage. I catch her and I catch her like this. Her legs come this way. Right here, I catch her, I turn to the lead singer and I hand her to the lead singer. He picks her up and carries her off stage. And to top it all off, she was not wearing any panties. So I'm sitting there like with that mortified look on my face. Oh my goodness, what's coming my way?
It's the world view.
But I used to love that about punk rock.
Sure.
Because my favorite thing is true punk rock people weren't trying to hurt each other.
Right.
If someone fell down, everybody would stop and we'd lift the guy back up and get him back up.
Right.
And didn't you always see that and go, that it's just so. And every punk rock concert I've been, like Strung Out, any of them, 2 concerts are never the same. They're completely different concerts.
Sure.
Whereas when you're doing a concert, like you're on a tour and you're doing how many weeks in a row would you go on tour?
Oh, just with Boingo, it was only like 6 weeks.
Right. But now you do a lot more. Than
Oh,
that.
now I do it a lot more. Yeah, I toured with Tito and Tarantula in Europe. We'd be gone.
Does it get repetitive after a while, or do you get excited every time?
No, it's excited every time.
I feel that exact way about football.
You know.
I could have played the same team 40 times,
Yeah,
and the 41st time, it's that first feeling like
it is.
butterflies in your stomach and all
It
that
is.
stuff we love.
I still get nervous.
Really.
I'm nervous and pace. Yeah.
Well, so do I, and that probably why we get along. I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's my mission in everything, is that we're waiting for the second shoe to drop.
That's why we get along.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I realize
What happened now?
my wife grew up with a really good family, 5 kids, husband and wife, married the entire time. I grew up in an environment where it was kind of like, and I appreciate it, you kind of your life were left on your own.
Right.
And you being 68, you
Right.
understand the same thing I do.
Sure.
Mommy and Daddy let me go out in the morning, and I needed to be home before the street lights came back on.
That was our code.
And did anybody ask us what we did all day? No.
Nothing.
I was explaining, and I know my staff think I'm completely crazy when I try to tell them about the 70s and streaking. Because I know everybody, like if you talked about that today,
Yeah.
we thought it was the coolest thing known to mankind, didn't it?
We did.
There was a song, The Streak. People used to do it at the Super Bowl. They do it everywhere.
Yeah.
And that was our version. Now they like to hurt each other. So, so with all of the stuff going on, like, when are you coming in? October?
We're coming in November 1st,
November 1st.
Day of the Dead.
Oh, right after. Where are you playing on, are you playing on
On Halloween, we're playing in San Luis Obispo.
San Luis Obispo at
Yeah.
what? The Grad? That was the very first place I ever ran.
Yeah, no, I can't think. I don't know offhand. I'm sorry, I'm having a senior moment.
Probably at the Grad.
Yeah.
My son went to college at Slowtown.
Oh, okay.
And I ran the graduate there. And it's funny, when he went back to college, I had some delusions. He was the running back for the football team. I had some delusions that we were going to drive up every weekend and see the concert. I still have that Sprinter. We're just sitting there because I think we did it one time.
Yeah.
And then after that, you're like, oh, that's a good 16-hour day that is miserable. So, are you doing any more music licensing?
Any more music licensing?
Yeah. Do you still like how does that work? Where all the scores for all of these movies coming out, because there's so many different movies now coming out.
Yeah. Well, I'm not involved in any of the movies. Danny's doing all the movie stuff. I'm just involved in my own music and.
How would you describe your own music?
My own music, basically, it's a tribute to myself because I've been playing for so many years.
I'm a legend in my own mind.
That's basically about it because I'm some of the songs are from different points in my life. Like the gospel country convention that I played one year in Nashville. I found a song from that.
Really?
There's a punk version.
My favorite thing always was, did you ever go to the Sunday brunch at House of Blues?
No.
That was one of my favorite things, and we had it at the Rose too.
Yeah.
Where it was so nice, and we had Sylvia St. James. Remember Sylvia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful soul she was. She is.
Yeah. So it's just all a bunch of crazy music from all.
Do we get to hear any of that on your concert coming up?
Maybe, but I doubt it.
Maybe you can be like I forgot. Was it the band Venice that would open up for themselves?
Oh, I know.
Or
Boy,
Pine Mountain Logs would open up for Venice. And so who else did that? Kenny Loggins. Yeah, does that where he opens up for himself. He's in the opening band.
Yeah.
And that way he gets to play all his music.
I suggested that to my agent, and he just about jumped. Rob,
Yeah.
you're not doing that. You're just not. It's not going to happen. You know,
We didn't pick on Rob any time during today.
We didn't.
Yeah, well, that's not normal because we have to pick on Rob. We've known Rob. I've known Rob for 40 years. It's like that poor guy, and he is so on his bands.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing, and I love the fact that he represents his bands and he does what's best for his bands. He doesn't do but what's best for himself. Right. And that's a lot of the bigger agencies, does what's best for the agency, not what's best for the band.
That's exactly right.
And we are wrapping it up here on Where Music Meets the Soul. We're here with Johnny Vatos, and thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
We're going to do a ticket special out there, and we're going to do a discount code good for the next week.
Cool. For our show?
For your show.
Oh, November 1st. Okay.
November 1st. We'll do that. And
let's see. We need a word though. We need a Q word, right?
What word are we using?
One. Let's see.
How about Vatos?
Vatos.
There you
Works
go.
for me.
Vatos.
So Vatos is a 2-for-1. And then what we do is if you guys repost that on your social media, maybe I'll talk Johnny into doing a meet and greet with one of you.
That would be great. That would be great. All right.
So I'm Joe Luann will handle that with Allie, and we'll make sure that all gets done. Thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for tuning in. And thank you, Kettle One, for supplying us all that vodka, keeping us all going. This is Lance Sterling and Johnny Vatos for Where Music Meets the Soul. Thank you.